Rhondo Soto, and I am from Envisioning Unity, Inspiring Change. This is the Envisioning Unity Shining a Light podcast, and I'd like to invite you or anybody that you might know, whether you express your light as an artist, as a musician, as a poet, as a dancer, as a singer, whichever way, and you know somebody that you may want to nominate, you can contact me at envisioningunity@gmail.com. Okay, and for today, I have an amazing guest that I'm really excited about. Actually, this has been the first time I've seen him in the last 10 years, but when you meet somebody and they just have this shining light that is just unforgettable, well, yeah, that's what happened. Okay, that's what happened when I'm gonna wait to tell you how I met him for later, but I would like to welcome Roshay Roshay. Welcome to Envisioning Unity, Shining a Light.
Hello, Rhonda. It's an honor to be here. I'm excited for the conversation.
Yeah. I'm excited too. Okay, now we met maybe like it was around 10 years ago. You were in high school at the time, okay?
Yes. Yep. Right. I was like 18 then.
18.
Yeah.
And I think so. It was a video that went viral.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a video called, I think it was "Stop the Violence."
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm gonna get to that a little bit later. For now, I would love to hear. Just introduce yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how your journey began?
Right. Well, I go by Roshay. I'm 26 years old, and I'm a singer, songwriter, actor, director, and salsa bachata instructor, which right now is what a lot of people kind of know me for. My journey, I've jumped into many different fields. I've been dancing since I was 6. My mother put me into dancing, and throughout my school years, that's kind of what I was known for, right? Because I would do talent shows, and the talent shows when I was in 7th grade, I would put like a bunch of songs together and add some comedy and little acting and stuff. And so from like 7th grade to my senior year, that's what I was known for. I was like known as the dancer. But then around senior year, when that video blew up and I started delving more into the music, especially when the song blew up, got like 4 million hits. So like locally, a lot of people knew me for that. Then the dancing was almost a little sidelined and forgotten. And people like you said like you knew me more for the lyrics and the music, right? And that's what I was doing. But then, fast forward to my early 20s, my mother was just like, hey, why don't you try instructing? Just try something else, try something new. And I did it, and it's kind of exploded into what it is today. And I'm just trying to find ways to morph everything that I do, the music, the salsa, the acting. I'm putting them all together. I teach my classes to my music, my comedy videos. I have my music. I'll throw salsa in there. So I'm just trying to it's like a melting pot. That's the best way I could describe it.
And I want to hear how you would describe what it is like today with what you're doing in your social club salsa bachata.
Yeah. And what do you mean? How is it like exactly?
Just describe it.
I mean, it's pretty interesting. I'm trying to make the salsa. I'm trying to add something new to it. Like I'm teaching, I don't know if you've seen the videos, but I go to schools, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's like these one-off little events. They'll invite me to these different colleges or workplaces. And I feel like it's a field that no one, like instructors don't really do it the way that I'm doing it. I'm just trying to make it exciting and fun. I'm trying to breathe a new life into salsa. So, and I think people feel that, and it's resonating with the youth, which is very exciting. I'm like bringing it to another generation. So that's fun. And it's cool because the truth is, when I was younger, I'll be honest, I thought salsa was like, when my mom put me into salsa, I was like, that's for older people. Like, I don't like, salsa's old school. I don't care for that. So she kind of like forced me into it, and I had to learn to grow and appreciate it, which I do now. Like, I love salsa, right? It's a part of me. But I wanted to make it cool to like young kids. That's kind of what I'm doing, is just trying to make it exciting. And I think it's working out so far.
So I want to bring you back. You were talking about when you were younger. I want to bring you back to the youth that you were. Okay,
for sure.
And I want to bring it back to because I'm always interested in hearing how youth, especially when it comes to teenagers and high school, how they navigate their environment in a lot of ways. And so here you are. You grew up in Holyoke?
In Holyoke. I was born in the Bronx, but I moved to Holyoke when I was about
Bronx, BX!
Right. Yeah.
I recognize that. I represent the Bronx.
I know it was short-lived, so I can't say I was raised there. My family knows all about the Bronx. You know, a lot of my family's still out there. But again, I moved here when I was 3, so I'm pretty much a Holyoke baby. You know, it's what I know. But yeah, you got another question?
So yeah, I do, because okay, so you're raised in Holyoke. You know, I don't want to forget the Bronx. You know, because I'm like from Harlem and the Bronx, right? I came here from the Bronx. However, you know, so Holyoke is like labeled one of the most dangerous cities in the state, right?
Right.
Okay. And at the same time, there's so many gems and diamonds in the roughs and all of that, you know, need a light to be shined on them as well, right? Because there's a lot of good going on. There's a lot of darkness, and there's people like you who shed a lot of light, okay? And so how, when you were in high school, because I want to bring you back to high school, because that's when a lot of youth have issues not only with their identity or they're sifting through who they are by looking at others. And so you know, here you are in Holyoke, right? You're in Holyoke High School, right? That's where you went to school. And so this is probably going to be like the 3-4-fold question is like, you know, how did you navigate, you know, who to hang with, who to, you know, do this, like, if, you know, and when you had real challenge, because I gotta say that I don't know anybody that hasn't grown up either in the Bronx or Holyoke or anything that actually had a little taste of going down the wrong road for a little bit. So I'd like to hear some of your experiences with that.
No, great question. You know, I think I was blessed to have some kind of awareness in me, you know, and so growing up in high school, I feel like I was pretty good at code switching when it needed, you know. So I would like to say that I was friends with kids who were more shy and awkward, maybe the geeks, you know. I would consider myself a geek as well, deep inside. But then I could also hang with the popular kids, the jocks or whatever, and it felt very genuine and real. So I was very blessed in that sense. I don't know, stuff like that came naturally to me. I was interested in things that both sides were interested. I could talk to and hang with all of them, you know. So I had a pretty good social circle, and that was nice in that sense. You know, people like to say I was popular. I like to say I was known. You know, sometimes it's tough. Sometimes I really felt like people, maybe, I don't know if they were intimidated or maybe they thought I was full of myself. There was a lot of rumors and things about me, you know, a lot of good things, but then also things that came with it. You know,
it was being your confidence that threw them off.
Being very known. So I like to say, I have this saying, I wasn't popular, I was just known enough, right? Everyone kind of like could know who I was, but sometimes I kind of felt a little alone sometimes, you know, in that sense. And like I had a lot of friends, but I wasn't really close to many of them, you know. I probably only had like one close friend that I would hang with and whatnot. So that was that. And academically, I think I was pretty good. My mother was hard on the education, so I kind of always was averaging A's and B's and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much that.
So on the days when you had, because we all have bad days, right?
Right.
We all have challenging days where either, for whatever, any situation, we all come into, like, I know there's not one kid that doesn't walk into a school on a day that maybe they're having a really bad day. And what or who made a difference or if anybody made a difference when you had one of those days and you walked into that building, okay? What was it? Like, you know, if you can talk to teachers right now to tell them what kids need, right? For when they're coming in with stuff on their back.
Right.
All right? Like, what worked for you?
The first thing that comes to mind, I mean, there was one class, I don't know, it sticks with me, so I think it works to answer your question. It was like history Puerto Rico class. Shout out Jason Irizarry, who probably, you know, he works at, I think, Connecticut UConn right now. I don't think I've ever even told him this, but I feel like the energy he brought to the history of Puerto Rico class, it was just like a side class too that you had to sign up for 1 year. And I don't know, I think I just felt like heard and seen by him and appreciated, validated in certain things. He actually still follows me to this day. He's one of the few people that will like my stuff, and I'll be like, oh, you know, it's cool that he still supports me then, you know. And I don't know, I kind of felt like in that short amount of time, it's almost like a father figure in a sense, you know. And I think those things are important. My parents, they got divorced when I was young. My father's still around. Our relationship kind of like fizzled, and he kind of helped me out with a job when I was like 18, 19. I still have love for him, but it's just, I feel like that, like I said, that father figure, I was always kind of looking for that throughout my life, so just to answer your question, that's the first thing that comes to mind. I think that's important, just good role models and feeling like you're listened to and that you're heard,
And you know what else I hear?
What?
It was a topic that you related to with your own culture.
Right.
Okay. So you're going into
history.
History of Puerto Rico. And,
right.
And you're saying that it was a class that you could choose. It wasn't mandated.
Right.
Meantime, you're in Holyoke, okay, right? Where
Exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
where that should be a staple in our schools, right? So what I heard as an educator is that, when I asked, well, what would you tell other teachers? Well, include the lives of your students, because that's where you feel a sense of belonging.
Right.
Because that's what you felt.
Right,
you felt heard, you felt seen, you felt, right? That's important.
Right.
Right. So, and the other thing I heard is shout out to the single parents, okay?
Yeah,
because I'm one of those, okay, single mom, and I'll tell you what, that's where a great light should be shown on, okay? Right. So any single moms out there too that are shining their light, because it is tough.
Right.
It is tough. All right, and hit me up. I'll shine a light on you too, okay? Because it matters. It really does matter, So shout out to your mom for doing what she's done, okay?
Right. She's done a great job.
Okay, so now you spoke a little bit about like identity and like how you hang out with the nerds, and so you are versatile, right? You hang out with the nerds, you hang out with the cool people, the jocks, this. What? Because I'm gonna go back to that video, right?
Right.
What made you to decide with your boy, Ajna
Suda.
Ajna.
Shout out Ajna Suda.
Shout out
Eric
to him
Ricardo is
too.
his real name.
Mm-hmm. Why did you decide to do that video? Because I just want to say, when I hear the lyrics, I tell you, he's an amazing lyricist.
Thank you.
Because after that video went viral, I was like peeping Roshay when he would be in his bedroom freestyling, okay? And I was like, that's a lyricist right there, and a conscious one, by the way, okay? Talking about real stuff.
Right.
All right. So what made you decide to do that video? Because it was like, it started off with, there was a fight that was going to break out, and
It was a whole little process. I'll break it down. So it was actually this group, Restorative Justice, Palante was the name of the group.
Go Palante.
Yeah, funny enough, that there's spaces where I teach my salsa classes today, and it's just like a coincidence that I just kind of
that's community work. That's beautiful.
But in high school, they had like a little space there, and my ex was actually part of that in high school, and they knew I rapped, that I would just do my own little thing, drop in little projects, music here and there. And they asked her to ask me, hey, could he make a song for Restorative Justice? Kind of, because there was like 3 fights in like one day, or there was a lot of fights in a week. I remember, which is bad.
Must have been a full moon.
Right. So they asked me to make a song. And, at first I was like, I don't know if people think like school stuff. I'm like, I don't want to do like a school rap. But then I thought about it, and I was like, let me make it. How can I make this dope? Make it feel real and raw. I didn't want to just be like, fighting is bad. I wanted it to give it some swag and just make it interesting and feel real. And so then I started writing the lyrics, and it was coming out pretty naturally. That's when World Star was hot. That's one of the lyrics I have. Mm-hmm. And then Eric's involvement, Aj's involvement was I knew he was a rapper. We had just became friends kind of recently because he was freestyling. He saw my stuff. He appreciated my work. And I was like, I saw the potential in him. I'm like, yo, he's dope too. You got naturally got the voice, the look and everything. And I was like, you know what? You want to do this with me? Let's just do it. I asked him, and he was down. And that was pretty much it. He wrote his verse in a day. We came together with my video production teacher. Shout out Mr. Lang too. He was a great dude. He really loved both of our stuff as well. And it just kind of was like lightning in a bottle. It all worked out. The stars aligned. We had other students that were down in the day, like the ones that froze. Because if anyone that doesn't understand, you could search it up. Holyoke High Fight, Stop the Violence. And the videos, it seems like a real fight is about to go down. It's just the camera's just catching 2 people in an altercation. But then everything freezes once the beat starts, and I go into a rap, he goes into a rap, and we're just talking about
truth to power.
Truth to power, and how you don't need to always resort to violence, basically. And
How did your peers take that?
They liked it, and I think there was an excitement. I think everybody saw the reaction, and that kind of just made it more cool, you know. Because the next day I was on the news. I didn't even know that, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And just seeing the numbers go up and seeing the comments, people were being so nice and appreciative of it. You know, the consciousness, the message behind it, and so it was great. You know, people really liked it.
So after high school, right? Because now you're getting a little bit older, right? Right. After high school. And you stayed with doing your freestyling in your room,
right?
Right, because I used to see those.
Yeah.
Okay, and what helped you stay focused and led you to where you are at today?
You know, I gotta say a big thing is a support system and people that love me, family and friends, really, like. Because trust me, I still struggle with staying grounded and focused sometimes, you know, and the people that see potential, the genuine love from certain people that kind of be like, yo, where's the music? Where's this? Come on, we love what you're doing. They want to see me reach my full potential. So I got to give credit to those kinds of people in my life that have told me and reminded me like, yo, do it. You've got something here. Yeah, because I could get lost in my own little world. So I appreciate all those people.
So tell me a little bit about how you stay grounded, you know, because I'm all about mindfulness and grounding exercises and all of that and higher vibrations and all that. So tell me how you stay grounded.
I'm big into that too, spirituality and whatnot. But like I said, it's different things. I wish I knew I could give a specific answer because I feel like I still sometimes struggle with it. So it's different things like I talk to myself a lot, literally. Like I'll be in the mirror and just have conversations with myself and sort my thoughts out. I think a lot to myself when I'm alone. Again, I'm by myself a lot, just working. So to be honest, I think it's just conversing with yourself and trying to organize your life, you know, little things, like keeping things in order in my room and whatnot, like trying to have discipline, practice that in different ways.
And it is a practice. Talking to yourself in the mirror, it's like talking to your higher self.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And having that conversation with your higher self. What am I doing? What can I do? You know, for me, it's that because I do that too almost every morning, actually. Okay. And I wake up, I clear any energy that doesn't belong to me, isn't at the highest vibration of love. Okay. And all of that, you know. And it's also going into nature for me. Like I have to be. You want to talk grounding in nature. I've
been starting to get more into nature. I don't know if it's just maturity or if my cortex fully developed. What is it? The cerebral cortex. Yeah. But like I used to think like, oh, hikes, they're boring. What the heck? But now like I'll just go out to the park and just appreciate the sunlight and nature, as you're saying. It's like it really hits the soul. You know, it's good. It's good.
Well, you're right about the cerebral cortex because, you know, our brains, our frontal lobe, because our brains are not even capable of thinking about consequences fully until the age of 25.
Right, exactly.
That helped me, by the way, so much because then I knew why I messed up in high school. I was like, oh, no wonder why I did all those stupid things, you know? Right? You know? So, you know, so staying focused, talking to yourself in the mirror, being grounded, absolutely important, right? And I want to like kind of switch a little bit until like how you identify with yourself now. So if you were to describe, right, how does your identity show up in the world now?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I mean, with the salsa stuff, I feel like that's like self-explanatory. It's like my culture in your face, right? Like salsa is very Puerto Rican influenced, especially the modern version of it. So I feel like once you see it, boom, you know, you're getting Puerto Rican slapped in the face with culture right there. And then in other ways, like when it comes to my videos and music, I like to throw little hints, you know, just, you know, Puerto Ricans, we're obnoxious with our pride. We like to let everybody know that we're Puerto Rican, you know, we'll throw it out
we
there.
We got that beautiful pride.
Right. So
rightfully so, by the way.
Absolutely.
The most diverse DNA.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Exactly. And it's beautiful. So I always like to find ways to sneak it in there with lyrics and just finding cool ways to express that. So.
And so what impact do you hope? Because you're doing some things now, So you talked about how you were in with the music and doing the lyrics and you're dancing, and now you're like more focused on the social club dancing, salsa, bachata. Which, by the way, I've seen some videos of that, and let me tell you, it looks like fire. And I said to myself, why, Rhonda, have you not gone? Like, really?
I
was one of those people in the 80s that was hustling. Do you understand? Like, I'm not talking about the hustling on the street either, even though that was part of it. I was talking about hustling in the clubs. Okay? And it's not much difference from hustling in the clubs to that salsa, because I also was in Orchard Beach doing that Tito Puente and Mark Anthony and Rico Suave and free concerts in Orchard Beach in the Bronx. What? It was beautiful.
That sounds fun.
Beautiful. So, what impact do you hope to make in your community, actually? Because I want to bring it back to the community of Holyoke, because it's not like, it's already tough, okay? And yet, to reside in the city, right? But I'll tell you one thing, over 30 years that I've been in Holyoke, I've seen nothing but beauty. In a lot of ways. Like, I see the diamonds in the roughs. All right. So
before I even answer your question, I just wanted to say, like, I didn't even know Holyoke had the reputation it did for most of my life. It wasn't until like high school that I realized, I'm like, oh dang, people see Holyoke this way. I had no idea. Could have been, there's different parts in cities, so maybe I was just grown up. I was from the Highlands, so that probably plays a part in it. But
so Holyoke is like, towards the Highlands and then the flats, and there is a huge difference in your environment, right? And that's going back to looking at the history of Holyoke, which I invite you to do, because we need to know. We need to know, okay? Because there's beautiful people like Roshay that exist in Holyoke, and let me tell you, there's so many beautiful people shining their lights in Holyoke. Okay.
And to answer, and it goes right into the answer of your question, right? There's beautiful things in Holyoke. That's one of the goals that I hope to achieve, is that, touching a little, like a kid's soul out there, like inspiring them and having them realize, hey, in this little town, big things can come true. People can do great things. And so through the salsa, through my music, I really just love, simply put, I like to entertain and connect people through my art. That's just like general, but then it gets a little deeper when I can see how I've, again, impacted kids, because the ripple effect of that is unimaginable, right? Like, if one kid who would have never danced, but he liked my class, and then who knows what he starts from there, where his life goes from there. Maybe he ends up as an instructor someday. I didn't expect to be an instructor at all. It just happened. So who knows what can come from this? And so that's my goal, really, to inspire, to entertain, and then really importantly, the connection aspect. Like, I always stress this. It's something so simple that I feel like it took a long time for me to learn, is the importance in what I do is making you feel something, like just feel like. That's how I know when something is good that I create. It's not like some people think too much and they're like, oh, what if they like this? What if they blah, 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 blah. It's like, sorry. It's just, it has to be, can you get the feeling across? Can you make the audience hear your point, And even if sometimes it makes them a little uncomfortable, guess what? You're feeling something.
That's right.
And that's
or
all that
learning
matters.
Something.
Learning something, right.
Because that's that line of
Exactly.
learning. When you feel a little bit uncomfortable,
Exactly.
sit in that for a while.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Right. Why are you uncomfortable? Because then you might learn something about yourself. So that's,
And you know I'm gonna have to bring this up.
Go ahead.
Because you spoke about how people were missing your lyrics and missing your music and all that, right? So I hear that you have something coming up.
Right. Yes.
Can you speak to that?
Yes.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Really
I'm excited too.
for you. Okay?
I'm excited too. I have an album coming up called It's Complicated, June 26th. It's gonna be like a thematic album. What I like to do in my music, I think depends what you consider conscious. Right back then, I like to do different styles. I like to make music people could dance to. That's why I'll do bachata too. But this album specifically, it's gonna have a lot of hip hop, R&B, or rap vibes. So you're gonna hear them bars, just your kind of thing. But I would say it's definitely it's coming from a real place. But due to the title, it's complicated. It's kind of more following my life in like my mentality, the shift through a complicated relationship from beginning to end. So if you listen to each songs, each of them are bangers, by the way. But when you look at them as a whole, you'll see change in the mentality from this Roshay.
And so for those of the viewers that might want to hear that like, just give me a couple of things, highlights of that process that you like now are getting involved in creating your own album, right? Because there's a lot of people out there that are doing like, what would you say to them? What would be your advice to them?
A few things, strive for originality and don't care too much about what people think. Like, really try to find your own voice. That's something I struggled with, actually, because we all have inspirations, but then you almost sound like someone too much, or you're trying to be something that you're not. But now I feel very comfortable in my sound and who I am. And sometimes people give up too early, so just don't give up. That's what I would have to say. Like, seriously, just keep going. Trust yourself. And most importantly, you'll know it. You'll know it's good if you feel it. If you're just putting it out there and thinking, people are going to like this, you have to be like, no, this hit my soul, so it's going to hit somebody's soul out there. Dang, I keep hitting it. Sorry. But yeah, do you want to know more about the process? That's me giving some advice, but did you want to know about the album process, or did that answer your question?
Well, I did. Yeah, it did answer my question. It's like if I was a youngster coming up to you and saying, "Oh, wow, you're making an album, you're doing this. Wow, it is great." Like, what? Give me a couple of great things and something to look out for.
Great things.
I heard keep your voice.
Right.
Okay, don't let nobody switch and change your voice.
Right.
Because that happens.
Right. Exactly. Don't let people take advantage of you when it comes to like music business. There's a lot of people being like, hey, I'll be your manager, I'll do this, I'll provide these things for you, and it's just a bunch of baloney. Or just be careful.
How do you find out it's baloney? How did you find out it was baloney?
Me, I had to kind of go through it and live and learn type thing. I had to experience it. But I think they were good experiences that helped me learn. And it's just you just got to understand that people talk a lot. They'll say, I used to do this, I did that, and they might not have anything to show for it. So you just want to make sure, like, usually sometimes when things seem too good to be true and they just kind of happen, it kind of is sometimes. Right? So just always be cautious. You don't have to be paranoid, but be cautious. And yeah.
I like that. Listen. You keep shining that light of yours, because it's a bright light, and I can't wait to see where you're going, because you're already there. Okay, you've been there for a while, actually. Now wait till you hear the album. I heard one song and it's fire. Okay, just let you know that one song and it's fire. All right, so I can't wait to hear the rest. June 26th, by the way. That's what he said. June 26th. It's complicated. Okay, it'll be coming out. You can find them on Facebook too.
Yeah, and you can find my other songs on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. If you just search up Roshay, Roshay, on any platform, my other stuff will pop up.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Keep shining that light, Roshay, man. It's so beautiful to have you here and shining a light on you. And I can't wait to shine some more light on you, because this also culminates to an end of the year kind of showcase where,
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.